All right. Hi, third period intermediate art. I am going to show you what we're doing today, talk to you about things that you need to have done, finished. I'm going in and just putting zeros for things that have not been turned in. That doesn't mean you have a zero. You will have a zero if you don't turn something in. Like you turn something in, obviously your grade changes. But I just sometimes when you see the amount of things you're missing, kind of helps get things going. If you went to your announcements today, you will see hopefully this link that is working. Hopefully I need you to email me, anybody that is out there listening to me right now. Listening to me video wise, but wants to be live Zooming with me. I need you to email me if this is not working, if you cannot get on this at 11:40. Or 11:45, whenever I have turned it on. I need for you to be telling me something. Okay, so it says, please tune in live to today on the Zoom so I can hear from you, can I see you, something. And don't forget to do your sketchbook assignment for today, and you will be uploading those tomorrow. So that is important. I'm gonna go now to modules, and I'm gonna go to this project right here titled Zentangle Hunger Project. All right, Zentangle should be a review for everybody. Can I make this the whole side of my screen? Okay, Zentangle should be a review for everybody. Everybody, I know if you had me for intermediate, you have created Zentangles. I know even if you haven't, I already know, especially if you're in intermediate, you know what a Zentangle is. I'm going to turn off the lights and go over this little PowerPoint and tell you about your project. So, Zentangles. Hold on, let me get out of this presentation from, but that is my presentation. Okay, never mind. I'm just gonna stay here. It just doesn't look very clear to me. So Zentangles are just basically creating designs from line and repetitive pattern. They are relaxing, hence the word zen, and tangle, like you're drawing, you're creating, you're designing, you're doodling, and it, kind of looks like it's this little tangled thing. They increase focus and creativity. They provide, sometimes you've seen these now, they make these adult coloring books, and that's what they are. Zentangles are absolutely the adult coloring books. What people are coloring would be what you have designed. Does that make sense? The black and white is the Zentangle itself. So sometimes you get, it says here at the bottom, it provides an artistic satisfaction and an increased sense of personal well-being. So there's some psychological things that come from coloring these in, and also, okay, what is a Zentangle? In a word, it is a doodle. If you have ever sat in the class and somebody is, boring, and your teacher's boring and talking to you, and you're so tired of listening to her or him, you probably start doodling, who knows, little teardrops or something in something, on the side of your paper. So a Zentangle is, yes, it's a doodle, but it's also structured and contained. So that's kind of where this man who created this kind of came up with this concept. So instead of just random doodles everywhere, it's got some sort of structure in these little cells. There's just these little cells everywhere. The doodle changes. You do this, you move on to something else that might change, but you repeat elements like this right here, this right here. If you notice, this is all done in a marker, like a black Sharpie. Hopefully those of you at home have some sort of black marker, some sort of, yeah, I mean, even if it's color, I don't even care if you put color in it, but I do not want this done with a pencil, all right? That's not your project, that's just an example of Zentangles. You can do hashtag Zentangle art on in Instagram and all over the computer. I know that my students last year did, they did their own Zentangles, and then they also did an animal outline. You know, like we would take an animal, can you see that? Like this elephant, we would take an elephant, a line, you know, a contour line drawing of an elephant. I think all of y'all remember that. A contour line drawing of an animal, and we would fill it in with Zentangle patterns. So all you're doing is creating a pattern or a doodle with a pen, you know, obviously in your sketchbooks. Here's a ton, there's no right or wrong. This is organic lines, organic shapes, geometric shapes. But one thing you really need to work on is coming back in and coloring some areas solid. If all these solid areas weren't colored in, it would be very boring to look at. This right here brings contrast. We talked about that in our introduction to the art principles. This contrast creates unity. It creates interest in your work. So you can do all kinds of line designs all day, but it is not going to be successful until you come back in and solid some areas. I really would have, even in this one down here, I still might have in a few places, I would have done a little bit more, because this one kind of, you know, like even up here, see how they just did a few, not everything has to be, you know, solid in, but this one kind of bugs me, and I really wish there was like, you know, 3 or 4 elements. You are developing your eye, you're developing your design sense. You're going to know when something looks right and finished. So this is very basic. This takes you back to Art 1. You are using curved lines, straight lines, zigzag lines, horizontal lines, wavy lines, dash and dotted lines. I don't think I need to go through, you know, all of these different ways. The zigzag lines. Come back inside the zigzag lines and make a design in them. Curvy lines all loop together, kind of starts making like a weird little optical illusion. Some of us, somewhere in one of my classes, we did these organic line designs, and the more we kept repeating that line, the more like trippy it looked. It looked, you know, it starts taking on like motion, rhythm, which is also what we've been talking about in the design principles. Okay, so now that we're in Art 2 or intermediate, you know, we're not just doing little samples and things. We want to be artists, and we want to be able to use a voice, and we want to be able to use our creative skills, our abilities, and our talents to bring attention to something. And I have, I'm doing the No Child, like, you know, I would like this to be, you know, kind of like a No Child Hungry. But if you have something in mind, and I'll type this in. If you have another activist type of thing that you would like to do, you know, we have a lot of, we have a lot of passionate contemporary issues, social issues going on, you know, in our country right now and in the world. So if this doesn't resonate with you and you really feel like you could make some sort of poster, because what you're going to do, let's say you're doing this one, No Child Hungry. Think about this term. You know, what does that mean, no child hungry? Because there are people, yes, in the whole world, there are people hungry. Sometimes I feel like, you know, we as, you know, Americans, sometimes I feel like maybe, you know, we do a lot of feeding, you know, to a lot of different countries and stuff, but I feel like people forget this is my personal opinion. I just feel like there are people everywhere, you know, in rural areas or areas like right now, this hurricane, which by the way is Hurricane Laura, which is my first name, you know, I feel like some of these areas that get hit with floods, and I just feel like there are people, not only children, but adults. I mean, I feel like people are hungry everywhere. So, you know, that's a very passionate thing for me. You know, child trafficking, gosh, you know, all of the police shoot. I mean, there's so many topics that you can think about. But let's say we're doing this, No Child Hungry. think about, you know, what does that mean? What type of images pop in your head? Like I'm just put yourself, you might yourself be, you know, hungry. And I'm not talking about like today hungry. I'm talking like, you know, long term. You know, how does that make you feel? Because what we're going to start doing is using line and art psychologically. You know that if I did a whole bunch of, you know, like horizontal lines like this, that kind of is very tranquil, right? Remember that from like line, like typically anything that's horizontal is very peaceful and tranquil. Well, that might not be, you know, how you're feeling when you're hungry. You know, when you're hungry, it might start in the middle and spiral out. And then, you know, then you get hangry and then you might have, you know, zigzag. I mean, you need to think about the lines, think about you know, what each of these lines mean. I'll come back to that. I don't want to confuse you. So, you know, how can you incorporate a Zentangle, design a Zentangle, to do like a, you know, this is No Child Hungry. Let me show you some examples and I'll come back to this. Okay. So, and I also want you to incorporate, you know, some color. You can incorporate some images if you want. I mean, these have gotten a little creative with repetition of food. No one has to go, you know, no one has to go hungry. I hate showing examples because that's not quite, you know, what, you know, I don't want you to get stuck in something, but what I want you to do is think about something you're passionate about and only using line and shape and pattern and repetition. Let's just stick right here at this, you know, how can you make a poster kind of like you just did a little poster about yourself? Let's think of it this way. I know I confuse y'all. Let's think of it. Oh, and it doesn't have to be big. You know, these are Zentangles, so you know they're relatively small. How can you express something you're passionate about, some social, you know, issue that you're passionate about, only using line, shape, pattern, repetition, couple of colors if you want. Maybe the whole thing is, you know, in black and white design, and then there's some key elements, you know, that stand out. That are in color. You know, obviously you're going to be using black for the majority of everything you're doing. You know, what are two colors that come to mind when you're thinking of your social, what's it called? Social problem, concern. I don't want to confuse you. I want you to be able to, I don't want you doing something, you know, for child hunger if you're really passionate about something else. I want that passion in your artwork. I don't want you doing like, oh, this is what it looks like if, you know, children are hungry. If you are feeling passion about something, that's your challenge. How can you take the concept of all these art elements, line, zigzag lines, shapes, everything that can become something. Maybe you do, maybe you draw some sort of image, you know, I hate not having all my images ready. Hold on, let me get out of this. I'm just gonna give you some ideas. I don't wanna confuse you, especially people at home. I don't wanna confuse you at all. I just want to give you, let me go to, why do I get out of things? I just want to give you some ideas and options, and that's typically what I do in class, like if we were all here live. Sorry, y'all. View. I want to see things. Okay. I'm gonna get out of this. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. Get me here. Okay. Thank y'all for bearing with me.
Is there anyone?
No, what is going on? Why can nobody live Zoom? I tell y'all what, you A people next week, you better be showing up and so I know it's working.
Say it's a great.
Well, I told everybody to tune in live. What is wrong? And I do think there's something wrong with my link. No, well, I'm not trying to get in Spotify.
Free quiz brain.
I really think it's my link. Look, now my Google Drive won't open. Now my computer's messed up. Virtual people.
Yay, virtual survey.
All right, virtual people, this is what I'm doing, especially since nobody's live here. I'm going to end this live part. I'm going to get my images together, and hopefully my my Google, my thing for you to see what's going on, will come back up, and I will re-add another video very shortly. So just check back in the announcement section, and I will go. And Caitlin's here, so it works. Does it say third period still or second period? Okay, so Caitlin's here. So virtual people, my B people, my all virtual people, you should be logging in. I'm about to start calling out people. You need to be logging in and listening to me and asking me questions. This link is working, so now I know it's not me. Oh, look, my drive's working again. Okay, good. You all thought you were getting a break. Let me type in all Zentangles, because I just want to show you some options. Yeah. It's the internet. I got some really. It's always in the announcements. Yes. Yes. You know, just like I was telling you, we've done Zentangle animals. I mean, you can kind of take, I want to show you this negative space one. I used to have really good images. Let's look at this for a second. I think my images are on Pinterest. I just want to show just like this image right here. See this, you know, large shape. Let's say you are doing child trafficking, okay? And you do these very large, the center of your poster are, you know, like handcuffs, okay? And then they stay white. You don't ever put anything in the handcuffs, but behind it, you do a Zentangle pattern design kind of, you know, expressing what's going on there. Does that make sense a little to everybody? Or, you know, maybe you're doing something about animal abuse or something, and you do these silhouettes. Silhouettes mean, you know, just like the outline of it. And then in the background, you're creating some Zentangles and patterns that promote, you know, or go with what you're trying to do, what social concept you're trying to do. I still am gonna get some more visuals for you. I mean, you could even do this, like we've done, you know, like I told you, we've done Zentangled animals. You could take, you know, some aspects, like you know, I could do a little child and a contour outline drawing of a child, and I could fill the silhouette of the child up with Zentangles that kind of, you know, express that. Or, you know, maybe you do an animal, you know, and you're doing something with extinction and it's a particular animal, and you do a particular Zentangle design, you know, that these are all animal design, animal Zentangles. I'm just kind of showing you to just kind of give you ideas. There's no right or wrong. I mean, you can add color. They can be symmetrical. This bat's kind of cool. This bat's really cool because it's kind of got like fall stuff around in it. Okay, so what I want y'all to do as I get more visuals, I kind of want you to think about some sort of social topic that you know, that's very passionate for you. And I want you to sketch, figure out, you know, how you can do some basic Zentangle patterns, lines, repetition, inside it, outside it, or just completely just line and pattern. I will try to add some more examples for you. And message me if you do not understand. I will do a little clearer presentation either later today or tomorrow with some more positive examples. So today, hello, I see all my but you can't see me. You can, yeah, or you can, okay. Yeah, so hello, people are able to log in. The people that are logging in right now are the people that are sitting here face to face. So I need my virtual people all at home, all wherever you are, to start zooming in live, because I know you probably have some questions, all right? And I don't want you confused. I want you creating and being passionate and designing and all of that. Okay, so I'm gonna go and email me if you have any questions. I'll try to add some more examples and things so you kind of understand what you're doing. Don't forget you have your sketch assignment today, and then tomorrow you don't have any sketch assignments. You just have to take images and upload. It's, you know, tomorrow's upload day. So I think you have enough to work on. Some of you have some back things to work on. And I will see you later. Email me if you have any questions. Zentangles. Look up hashtag Zentangle, you know, patterns, Zentangle projects. You're going to see a lot of ideas, but right now I want you to think of some sort of social topic that's going on right now that you can be passionate about with abstract line, shape, pattern, repetition. All right, I will talk to y'all later. This is a big project. This is a big project also. It's not due today. This is not a daily assignment. This is, if we were all here in this room, we'd be working on it for a week or so, okay? So intermediate is more about you and your discovery and working on projects, you know, for a lengthier time. So don't turn anything into me today, all right? Unless it's a sketch you want to talk about it. Okay, bye.
I know,